The Alldus podcast is brought to you by Alldus International, supplying your expert AI and digital transformation staffing needs across the US and Europe. Today, you are listening to our ServiceNow series, where we interview the best and brightest of the industry to share their story, advice, and views on the exciting world of ServiceNow and digital transformation.
You're listening to the Alldus podcast, ServiceNow series. I'm your host, JP Valentine. Our guest today is Josh Soper. Josh is the Chief Revenue Officer at Norseman Services. Josh, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
So Josh, let's start with yourself, please, as we do with all of our guests. Could you give us a little bit of a summary overview of your career in technology, maybe where you got started, some of the roles you've held along the way? Most importantly, what's led you to where you are today as the Chief Revenue Officer for Norseman Services?
Yeah, so been in this business for almost 25 years and started with a large global staffing and services company out of Richmond, Virginia. And right out of college, was doing technical recruiting. Was my first role with the company. And so I put a lot of IT pros to work over the years and got promoted into kind of more of a contributor sales role and did some good things and was a perennial producer up in the Richmond, Virginia market. And then I got thrown into some emerging leadership training and got tapped for that. And an elite group of people that were tapped to go open new markets for the company. So back in 2006, that opportunity was presented. And actually, I moved to Charleston, South Carolina with my family and opened the Charleston branch for a big global IT service company. So that was back in 2006, and it was very much startup market. Our industry wasn't in the market yet. So really, I was tasked to lead the business development efforts for this company and you really become the mayor of Charleston, South Carolina in the IT community. As you can imagine, moved very quickly into doing a lot of business development, meeting with a lot of local companies and so forth. Grew that pretty significantly and just got to the point where I was like, hey, I'm ready for a new challenge. So I got actually approached by Norseman Defense Technologies, the parent company of Norseman Services, to come over and really drive and build an identity and a brand for the service organization at Norseman.
Excellent. Super helpful. Thanks for that, Josh. Great context. And I'm glad you mentioned the parent company. Let's start there. For those listening who are probably not familiar with Norseman Defense, can you tell us a little bit about the parent company, first of all, and then where this new business venture, Norseman Services, came from?
So Norseman Defense Technologies is known as a VAR, as a reseller. So they got a great, significant, tremendous brand in the public sector, about a $300 to $400 million company. Resell technology of different OEMs. They got 300 plus different OEM relationships, right? So they're quite active in the public sector, DoD, FedCiv, Fourth Estate, SLED, to name a few of those sectors. And Norseman Defense Services was actually built to really serve the interests of that VAR. And it's been around for about a decade, but really, again, the company was really built to support whatever the VAR side of the business would sell to the public sector. And we would deploy resources for those respective technology areas. Well, as you can imagine, it's hard to really scale and build a company. You can't be great at 300 different technology domains. So they brought me in to really lean into some specialization, some areas that we could really double down and invest in. And actually, ServiceNow was a pretty obvious choice for us, being that we had a pretty significant past performance in that technology with large DoD customers. And we had a significant engineering staff that was cleared and already certified and vetted. And so we've built from that starting point.
Thank you for that. So your role, you and I were talking off air, you've been brought in to spearhead growth, very much leaning on your customer experience at enterprise level. Talk to us a little bit about the game plan and what conversations you're having with the existing customer base that was built from Norseman and how you're using that to identify new and future opportunities that exist within your target ecosystem. Are you guys going to continue to focus on the broader FedCiv public sector, or will there be expansions from there? Help us visualize what you're tasked with.
We're in a really unique position as a company because we're extremely specialized in the platform. So we have industry expertise as well in that public sector domain with all our counterparts on the VAR side of the business, right? So they have access to all these customers. So I have a sales force kind of at my that complements what we're doing as an organization on the services side. We have investment capacity. So we have a long-term investment plan being associated with such a larger parent company that we can make sure that we're aligned with the right customers. We can build our team out in a meaningful way, hire the right people. With our FCL, which I think is certainly a discriminator, having our ability to hold clearances for our team definitely stands out within the ecosystem. Those enterprise relationships that you mentioned with clients, with our different colleagues that we have, our partners, the different OEMs, gives us such a significant advantage in this ecosystem. And then just the holistic approach. My leadership team, the nucleus of our operation team, has 100 years of experience between myself, our COO, our practice managers and leaders. We have a lot of wisdom on this team. And then just being vendor exclusive to ServiceNow, there's no channel conflict for us. We are all in, and we are very specialized and focused on being really that second generation partner. And we want to be the most reliable, responsive, and consistent partner in the ecosystem. That's really like the Norseman purpose, is that next generation ServiceNow, industry-led solution provider.
So Josh, obviously in the federal and public sector space, like Norseman Defense, there's a lot of companies who are long-standing, servicing different parts of government across a broad spectrum of technology. And anytime there's a new platform or a new piece of technology that federal and public sector seem to trust, you'll see the broader partners lean into it. Norseman are no different, but you guys have had so much success that you've created this standalone business, which you're now playing a C-suite level role in leading. Are there any examples that you could share with us which would demonstrate the impact that Norseman Services have had to some of your end customers, maybe the objective and what was the outcome, and why having the standalone Norseman Services business helped you guys deliver to such a high degree?
The ecosystem's a busy and competitive ecosystem, right? And there's a lot of partners out there. Unfortunately, things don't always go as well as planned. So we've actually been tapped to pull in and actually come in and fix some poorly scoped out or implementations, unfortunately. So it's almost like we almost have a brain within the ecosystem of this special forces team that kind of comes in and rights the ship. And when I think about that, I think about a Navy customer where really there was a failed ITSM implementation to enhance their user experience. And we are fortunate we've got such a strong architecture team, solution architecture team. We're actually able to come in and really improve visibility through dashboarding and data categorization and kind of our ability to understand the trends and forecasting within the system environment. We were really to help to quantify some results for them. These legacy systems make it difficult, right, to learn from the past and forecast the future. So we were able to come in and help the Navy reduce time spent on task reporting and actually increase their ability to provide insightful forecast. And we couldn't have done that without our architecture team that's obviously has tremendous wisdom in the platform. Most of our architects have touched the platform for over a decade. And typically we, as a company, when I think about attracting ServiceNow professionals, we always invest in them. We always make sure their credentials and certifications are updated, and that's important to us. So I think, just to answer your question, I think that Navy customer was one. We actually, just a fun fact, we were the first partner to implement CSM at DISA, which is a large agency in the public sector for the state customers.
You are listening to the Alldus podcast. When you're looking to scale your team, or if you are interested in showcasing your company in a future episode, reach out today. Or if you're in the market for a new role, visit our website to view open positions, www.alldus.com.
So Josh, we're talking off air about some of the other unique aspects of what Norseman Services is providing and to your customers, given the unique criteria that exists within the public sector, varying levels of clearance, whether it be from state and local government all the way up to warfighting support. Talk to us a little bit more about what Norseman Services is offering beyond just traditional implementation support.
So something that we're starting to see trending more is that some of these KOs, these contracting officers with the government, are a bit frustrated actually with their own agencies, right? Because their procurement cycles take quite a bit to procure and build out these professional service awards and contracts, right? So they can get to the ecosystem. So something that we're starting to see trend quite a bit. We actually have a product called Expertise on Demand, or ServiceNow on Demand, which is really a unique way for agencies to leverage potentially surplus budget dollars for future ServiceNow project needs. They don't expire. It's more of a material buy that they purchase professional service units, also known as PSUs. And it could be short, long-term ServiceNow projects. Norseman does all the managing of the delivery, all the security processes, and the performance reporting. So it's just another unique option. We all love options, right, when we're buying goods and services, and this is just something we want to offer to our public sector customer.
Given Norseman Services, it already has the platform of success that you're building on from the parent company in Norseman Defense. When you look at the growth trajectory and objectives that you guys have, particularly the near-term roadmap, what are you hoping to accomplish? What is the goal for you guys over the next 1 to 2 years?
We recognize there's a shift. Like the days of partners is coming to the table as ITSM pros are over. That's table stakes now. You have to specialize within the platform. So as a company, we continue to lean into that messaging, right? We understand it industry first, right? So we're bringing people. Our team has industry expertise. The days of just knowing the technology, you got to be able to speak customers' language. And that's why we're so hyper-focused on leading with industry and also specializing within the platform. And from a specialization standpoint, I would say for us, it's going to be really mostly the customer workflows, right? CSM, FSM, sales order management, all the technical workflows like ITSM, ITAM, HAM-SAM, enterprise asset management, SPM. I could rattle all of them off. That's table stakes, right? You got to bring industry expertise to these customers for these implementations to really be successful.
Going to go a slight different direction on this question, but I want to get your take on how ServiceNow will evolve and adapt, especially when you think about possible future use cases within AI, looking at the federal and public sector. Obviously, DOGE is making some noise right now. We're seeing some turmoil within the broader public sector, but ServiceNow feels like a platform that can increase efficiency. What conversations are you having with your existing customers, with your future customers and your sales team to make sure that ServiceNow is seen as not just a robust platform that should justify investment, but also a tool and a vehicle for increased efficiency?
Yeah, great question. And it's a popular question and a timely question, right? Yeah, we're getting a lot of that. And fortunately for Norseman, our customers are definitely essential, and a lot of it is warfighter activity. We're very fortunate to have customers that are leveraging ServiceNow for the right purpose. AI, right? ServiceNow's play to acquire MoveWorks, right? Agentic AI is timely as well. There's never been a better time to have these conversations with our customers. And I love the platform that we've chosen to double down in because I think it solves a lot of these efficiency problems. There's a lot of licensing opportunities, right? A lot of these customers have this Ferrari, i.e. ServiceNow, in their garage. They have the keys, but they haven't been necessarily advised the best way to leverage and to drive that car. And that's Norseman. One of Norseman's purposes. Like, we really want to make sure all of our customers are maximizing the value, the speed to value, the investment that they've made, and really the time to value that they've made in this platform, so they can actually get a lot of ROI out of it. So it's a popular conversation around efficiency, as you can imagine, with just all the DOGE activity. But I feel so great being locked into a platform that solves that problem for the government.
You mentioned earlier on talking about the amazing engineering team that you guys have been able to build upon and work with, which is part of why you guys are doing so well. It's not just the capabilities, but also the industry knowledge. When you look at the near-term roadmap and the growth ahead, where do you see the need to strengthen the existing team? What sort of opportunities do you think will come up across the year? And part two of that, which I know I mentioned to you previously, we always want to ask our guests what they say to potential future employees that would get them interested enough to join you guys over some of the other great partners also trying to grow in this space.
From a talent value proposition to an employee value proposition to respective employees maybe looking to join the Norseman family, that's what we are. We're not a significantly large integrator. We're a mid-size family-owned company that trust is at the forefront of what we do every day. But we hold each other highly accountable for our activity. We are definitely biased towards being action-oriented and building this company, and we hire in a meaningful way, meaning we say no to customers if we're not ready, if our team's not ready to deliver successful outcomes. So I think for us, we're in a very unique position because we are that family, agile, but a lot of wisdom team, but tied to a larger company with a lot of stability, financial stability and support. We're not a publicly traded company. We don't have to make decisions to appease the public markets. We're not a large company where we have a funding mechanism to hire the right people at the right time, at the right speed. So our brand continues to be positive in the ecosystem.
Yeah. Looking at the roadmap ahead, what are some of the key positions that you see coming available within Norseman Services, and what's important for you and the team when you're identifying people to bring in?
For us, what's really critical and really a priority for us right now is like the senior solution consultant role and the business process consultant role. Both are critical. Like any project, really, you win the project early on, right? Everything is really teed up at the very beginning of a project, from its scoping to the business requirements that are gathered through that kind of scoping exercise. So for us, like those critical roles that are part of that those first that kind of set the tone for the project are, to me, the most critical, because it really dictates ultimate customer success, which we're actually obsessed with customer outcomes, right? So like for us, it's, where does that all start? And it starts with a solution consultant and the business process consultant. So those are two areas that we're going to continue to invest in. And obviously, as I mentioned earlier, we want specialists within ServiceNow representing those roles as well. So we might have multiple solution consultants, we might have multiple, and we do have multiple BPCs, business process consultants, really representing the industry that we're serving and the specialization within ServiceNow, the modules and the specific areas of ServiceNow that we're representing.
Josh, thank you so much for coming on today and talking to us. It was an absolute pleasure to learn about your own background, your unique journey within the Virginia and South Carolina space, the expertise you've built up within public sector, and then how you're now leveraging that with Norseman Services. It's an exciting spin-off of an already excellent company, and I'm sure tremendous growth in store over the year ahead. So we wish you, the team, and everyone at Norseman Services the best of luck, and look forward to having you back on the show again in the near future.
Thanks, John. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Alldus podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and any Android podcast of choice. You can also head over to our website, www.alldus.com, to listen to more podcasts, view our open roles, and stay up to date with industry news. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more great episodes coming very soon.